Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 9-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, I would greatly appreciate that. On the road to 500 subscribers, so thank you to everyone that has subscribed so far and anyone who has supported in any way possible, whether that be on Twitter, YouTube, any way you interact with my content, leaving a comment every day. I appreciate every single one of you. And then don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my lock of the night. It's going to be the player that I am most likely to lock into my lineups. Sometimes it's going to be a high upper tier guy, lower tier guy, mid-price tier guy. All the above, but the guy that I am most confident, had a pretty good run with those so far. Last night, Mo Bamba, I think, was a little underwhelming, unfortunately, but we're going to bounce back and get back on the right track with those lock of the nights. So stay tuned to the end of the video for that. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. First game on the slate, we got Detroit taking on Washington. This game right now comes in with a 227.5 over under with a 3.5 point spread in favor of the Washington Wizards. So expected to be a fairly decent game. Expected to stay close. Bradley Beal is listed as questionable in this one. I tend to think he's going to be out because he's a guy that very rarely has an injury designation. And when he does, I just lean towards him being out. Of course, that's not official yet, but if he is out, Russell Westbrook is going to become one of the best plays on the slate at 11K. He's going to get a big bump up in usage. Already a triple-double machine. Last time out, missing a triple-double by 1 assist and had 18 boards for 58 DraftKings points. So that just goes to show you the type of upside this guy has. He's a point guard. He's going to get you rebounds, assists, and points, all the above. And then you take Bradley Beal out of the equation. He's going to take all that usage and just push it towards Russell Westbrook. So I'm going to have a ton of interest in him on this slate if that's the case. And I have a feeling that it's going to be, so just keep an eye on that news. And then, of course, also you're going to be playing guys like Rui Hachimura. And Alex Len could even maybe get a bump, surprisingly, if he's getting a start. And then you're looking at guys down like Raul Neto and Denny Avdija, who are the main beneficiaries. I would say Raul Neto would become a much better value play if he gets a start. Denny Avdija at 3-4. And, we did get rid of Mo Wagner and Troy Brown Jr. in this rotation. So it's just going to open up more minutes. And then specifically Garrison Matthews, who's really kind of turned a leaf recently. He played 35 minutes last time, put up 27 DraftKings points. So if he's going to get that much run, he's still only 3-1. He just becomes a very easy play. A good three-point shooter and with no Bradley Beal. He would become very easy to put in your lineups. And then on the Detroit side, there is no more DeLon Wright, so I'm going to have a lot more interest in these guards. Josh Jackson, Diallo, the new addition. Josh Jackson only played 17 minutes last time out, which is a little surprising to me. I kind of expected him to get a tick up. Diallo played 19 minutes. So just keep an eye on these rotations as these trades kind of occur. Saddiq Bey played 33 minutes, so I mean he's a good play. Mason Plumlee, Jeremiah Grant, these three guys are going to be the ones that are guaranteed locked in minutes, and I'm not worried about the Washington defense whatsoever. So I do think that these three guys you can play with some confidence, and they are in a very good matchup. The rest of the guys, like I said, we're going to have to keep an eye on this rotation and see how they break it down moving forward. We had Wayne Ellington at 4-2 last time, playing 22 minutes. So maybe he's a lot more of a viable play than these other guys we talked about. And then, of course, Corey Joseph, the new acquisition, playing 18 minutes as well. So that's the problem. Corey Joseph, I guess, is coming to the rotation and made it a little unpredictable. We did see Rodney McGruder get the start at 3-1. He only played about 16 minutes. So even though he started, the guard rotation's a little dicey right now. I would probably stick to those three that I mentioned in Mason Plumlee, Saddiq Bey, and Jeremiah Grant for now on the Detroit side. New York taking on Milwaukee. This game right now comes in with a 222.5 over-under with a 10-point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks expected to win this one very easily. Could turn into a blowout. Giannis Antetokounmpo at 10-8 has been very disappointing the last two times out. Put up 35 and 33 DraftKings points. He was supposedly dealing with an injury before the game he returned on the 24th. So maybe his injury is acting up. I don't know. But then again, he could go out there and just have a huge game in this one. You could miss out on some upside. But right now at 10-8, in a game that's not expected to stay close, in a game that I would expect him not to really push his minutes, it's a little sketchy trying to target him. Julius Randle listed as questionable, but is officially listed as probable. Had a really bad game last time out against Washington, which is really surprising because that's one of the best matchups you could ask for. And Julius Randle has been fantastic all season long. So at 10-2, do you really want to play him in a matchup against Milwaukee? I'm not too sure. Milwaukee has been very good defensively this year. You got R.J. Barrett at 7K. Alec Burks. These guys are a little bit more reasonably priced and have some similar upside on any given night if they get it going and Julius Randle doesn't get as many touches. So I would have no issues with playing these guys, honestly. Down here in this range, I'm not really sure that I'm trying to pay up for Julius Randle. Then, of course, you got to keep an eye on this guard news because that's going to really impact whether we're playing those guys as well. Derrick Rose, Reggie Bullock, Alfred Payton, and Nerlens Noel all said is questionable. If Nerlens Noel is out, we did see Taj Gibson step in and get a few more minutes as well. I don't really know that you're really wanting to play Taj Gibson. He's priced up to 3-4. I say priced up. It's still really cheap, but I mean, the guy's not really the best fantasy point per minute producer, but at a 3-4 price tag, if you need one more guy to fill in your lineup that's that cheap, wouldn't be the worst option to be thrown in there. So, and then on the Milwaukee side, if you're playing anyone besides Giannis, don't forget Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo. It's really predictable as to who you're really going to. These guys in the mid-range are the ones you're going to want to be plugging in because if Giannis doesn't have a good game, typically one of these guys is going to have a big game, which is a little ironic because none of them really did last time. So, I think that would change in this one, and we'll see, one of those guys probably go off. And Brook Lopez at 5K at the center position is a very good three-point shooter. Only problem with him is his minutes do fluctuate quite frequently, so you don't really know if you're getting like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So good tournament play, but I probably wouldn't be playing him in cash. Houston taking on Minnesota. This game right now comes in with a 227.5 over-under with a 5-point spread in favor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So pretty decently paced game. We just saw this one last time out, and my methodology or approach to the game is probably going to remain the same. I said there is no Kevin Porter Jr. right now. Houston just traded off Victor Oladipo, so that's going to make me really like Christian Wood and John Wall. Both these guys will take on a very heavy workload. Christian Wood last time out putting up 39 DraftKings points. Decent at his price tag. We could expect a little bit more out of him. I could see him getting up to like the 50 range, so that's really what I would be looking for out of him if I'm playing him. And then John Wall at the 8-4 price tag, same rule applies to him. He put up 46 DraftKings points, and I will continue to have interest in him. So those two guys really making a lot of sense. And then I had said the other two pay-up options on the other side make a lot of sense. The only problem is Malik Beasley is expected to return in this one. So that's going to put a little bit of a change in the rotation. If he's back to full speed, I don't really know if he's going to be. I mean, I would think he's going to be fine. He was suspended. I think he was good to practice and everything conditioning-wise. He just couldn't play in the game. So Karl-Anthony Towns, Malik Beasley, and Anthony Edwards, those three are going to be the ones you're really looking to target. It's just going to be interesting to see how much Malik Beasley really affects Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards has kind of been the sole usage guy for quite some time now. Now you got all three of these guys, but those three would definitely be my favorite. I think that Ricky Rubio is going to take a big hit, so I'm probably not looking to play him too much. I mean, you could make the other argument that he has more guys to pass to, and he's more of an assist-heavy point guard, so if you want to go that route, sure. Personally, I probably would just not be playing him as much. And yeah, Kevin Martin Jr. continues to see some decent minutes. KJ Martin, with there being no Kevin Porter Jr., so maybe play him, but I don't really think you have to go there. Stick to the guys that I had mentioned in the beginning. Chicago taking on San Antonio. This game right now comes in with a 223.5 over-under with a 3-point spread in favor of the San Antonio Spurs. The brand new addition, Nikola Vucevic, on the Bulls is expected to make his debut. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he gels with this team at 9-5. I think he's going to be motivated, excited to be on a new squad. He's been kind of locked up in Orlando for quite some time now, so I do think that we could definitely keep an eye on him. And Zach LaVine is questionable in this one. If he is out, I wouldn't be surprised to see, Nikola Vucevic get a ton of volume in his debut, so he would become an even better play. I do think that Vuce hurts the upside of Thad Young. He's probably going to get some less rebounding upside when he's in the game, and probably not looking to play him at his price tag right now. And then Kobe White, Lauren Markkinen would get a big bump up in usage if there is no Zach LaVine in this one. So both of them would become even better plays, as well as Thomas Satoransky, who continues to be the starting point guard at 4-8. All these guys would get a big bump up in usage if there is no Zach LaVine. So to keep an eye on that news for sure. And then on the San Antonio side, DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray, Jakob Poeltl, Derek White, all these guys that are getting the major minutes, you know where to go. And Keldon Johnson at 5'5". So, I mean, Chicago's a pretty good matchup. They don't scare me defensively. The only problem is on the San Antonio side, it's kind of like you kind of got to pick which guy goes off, because it doesn't seem like more than like one or two of these guys are going to have big games. So, if I'm picking my favorites to play, it would probably be DeJounte Murray, And DeMar DeRozan, I mean, they're the pay-up options. I know that's kind of obvious, but just to be honest with you, like Derek White, Keldon Johnson, all these guys are more tournament play. So I have no issue with you playing them, but if I'm playing one guy in this lineup and feeling confident about it as far as on the San Antonio side, I would have to go with DeMar DeRozan and DeJounte Murray because the rest are a little too inconsistent for my liking. Memphis taking on Utah. This game right now comes in with a 229 over-under with a 10.5 point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. So actually expected to be a pretty fast-paced game. Only problem is Utah's expected to run away with this one fairly easily. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert are priced up 9K and 8-1. Continuing to take on a heavy role. We just saw this game play out literally yesterday. So 117, 114 total. Donovan Mitchell put up 54 DraftKings points. Rudy Gobert at 8-1 went out there and put up 41 DraftKings points. So I have no issue with you targeting them. It's just they are priced up. So I continue to say guys like Mike Conley, Joe Ingles, even a Jordan Clarkson, you can maybe find some more value in 6'3", 5'8". It's just easy for them to get to like 30, 40 DraftKings points and get there at their price tag. I can see Donovan Mitchell going out there and putting up like 35 DraftKings points, and where he's priced, that's going to really hurt you. So I would have no issues with you playing a guy like a Mike Conley or Joe Ingles and taking that approach instead, or maybe even a Bogdanovich down here at 5-5 on this slate in this game. So no issues with that. And then on the Memphis side, it's Jonas Valanciunas, it's Ja Morant. These are the two guys that are really going to keep these guys in the game. JV put up 46 DraftKings points last time out. Ja Morant at 7-2 went out there and put up 55 DraftKings points, and they were able to stay in the game. So it correlates. I mean, that's if you're expecting Memphis to stay in the game, those are the two guys that are going to have big games, and they did last night. That's what I make it very clear. If you're playing those guys, and then if the game turns into a blowout, you're most likely not going to see those guys reach their potential, and you're probably going to want to play these guys in the mid-range like a Dylan Brooks or a Kyle Anderson. Go to one of these guys instead, and they're probably going to have a bigger game. They both had very mediocre games, and they were able to stay in the game because Ja Morant and Jonas Valanciunas went off. So it all kind of lines up as far as I'm concerned. If the game turns into a bit more of a blowout, I would expect Ja Morant and Jonas Valanciunas to have less good games, and for these guys in the mid-price to really shine. So pick which side of the fence you're on and run with it. Dallas taking on New Orleans. Next game on the slate. This game right now comes in with a 229 over-under with a 2-point spread in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic is listed as questionable. Kristaps Porzingis is also listed as questionable. Luka was listed as out last time out. Kristaps Porzingis played the game. And now, after playing 38 minutes Saturday, I would not be surprised to see him get the rest because they really let him loose in the last game, put up 62 DraftKings points. Great game. I just have a hard time believing he's going to play again on a back-to-back, to be honest. If he does, great. If he does, I kind of think he's going to be somewhat limited. So that's just scary going there with how they've been treating him all season long. If one or both of these guys are out, of course, the rest of the guys on the team are going to get a big bump in usage. So we'll be playing guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Richardson, Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson. Most of my favorites would be Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Richardson, and Jalen Brunson. Those three I would be really having a lot of interest in playing in my lineups. So just keep an eye on that news because if that's the case, you're really going to want to have a lot of interest in these three guys. And then I do think that Maxi Kleber at 4-5 would get a decent bump up in usage as well. Where there being no Kristaps, he can shoot the three ball very well. He does typically play like 30 minutes a game, and at only 4-5 in a game against New Orleans, that's a very good matchup. I could see him getting there. And that's the most important thing to mention is this New Orleans matchup is great. As far as the defensive end, they have not been good. So if those guys are out, I'm going to have a ton of interest in anyone on the Dallas side overall. Anyways, if Luka or Kristaps is in, I'd like to like Kristaps. I'm just a little scared about the minutes on a back-to-back. But if he's in, I guess they're going to probably play him starting minutes, I would hope. So just keep an eye on the news. If they say anything about him being limited on a back-to-back, keep an eye out for that. Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram at the top continue to be great plays. Zion Williamson putting up 65 DraftKings points last night against this Denver squad. Had a very good game, and I do think that he could do the same against the Dallas squad. Like I said, similar matchup, similar upside to be had, and similar, bad defense that you could target. Brandon Ingram, same replies. He played 37 minutes, only put up 26 DraftKings points somehow, so that's a little frustrating. To be honest with you, he's been a guy that I just cannot get right personally, so whatever I say probably doesn't matter. I would be playing him in this matchup, but we all have those guys we just can't seem to get right, and he would be one of those for me. So Josh Hart, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, if there is no Lonzo Ball, which I don't think there is going to be, they announced he's going to be out the next two games. Josh Hart and Nickeil Alexander-Walker are going to continue to be great tournament plays. Definitely going to want to keep playing both these guys and Eric Bledsoe as well. Eric Bledsoe finally having a big game last night. We've been able to target him only 4-4 for quite some time now. He put up 39 DraftKings points. So after putting up like 10 DraftKings points a game, finally had that big game out of him. I unfortunately was not on him last night. I played him in one of the first games on the ball was out, and he put up a dud. So, but I mean, the guy has the upside to get you there every single night, and you got to be playing him, especially if he's going to get low ownership. I tend to think that big game's going to make his ownership come up, which kind of stinks. Hopefully you were on him in the last slate because you would have definitely had a big score there. Boston taking on Oklahoma City. This game right now, as far as total is concerned, it comes in with a, let's see, I lost them here. A 219 over-under with a 10-point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics expected to win this one very easily. Oklahoma City continues to be without their best player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Evan Fournier is listed as questionable to make his Boston debut in this one. Did not play Friday. We'll see if he plays in this one. Who knows? But I don't really think that's going to impact the overall outcome. I think that the Boston Celtics will win this game very easily. And on the Oklahoma City side, they are shorthanded, so you could be playing guys like Al Horford at 6'3", Moses Brown at 5'9". I do tend to think that the younger guys, whether this game turns into a blowout or whether it doesn't, are going to get a lot of runs, so I like them a lot. Darius Bazley hopefully continues to be out. He is listed as questionable, but he was listed as week-to-week instead of day-to-day, so no way he's playing. So Moses Brown, Isaiah Roby, Lou Dort, Pokusevski, Ty Jerome, all of these guys in this range, I do think are very good plays. And then you got Svi Mikhailuk at 3'8". Because no matter what happens, if this game turns into a blowout, I think they're going to continue to see run. And specifically, Moses Brown at 5'9" continues to just be an absolute fantasy beast. And he's still not really priced up to, he's in a weird dynamic situation because he's not starting, but he's playing pretty much starter minutes every time out there, and he's still priced in the mid to upper 5K range. So as far as I'm concerned, I love Moses Brown. Even if this game turns into a blowout, he's just going to feast in that environment. He's going to be out there in garbage time, just getting buckets, getting rebounds, all the above. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him end up with literally 50 DraftKings points the way he's producing right now. So I like him a lot. Isaiah Roby, Lou Dort, all of these guys I have a lot of interest in this game just based on the fact that they're shorthanded. They're going to have to play minutes. Pokusevski at 5'2". And yeah, that's all there is to it. Someone's going to have to score for this team. They're probably going to get blown out, but even if they do, they still have to have guys out there on the court doing something, and they're going to be the ones out there. Al Horford will probably be the first one off the floor. He's a little bit of an older veteran, so I'd be fading him and playing these younger guys, knowing they're going to get some run on the Boston side. As far as who's going to get the blowout run, I don't really know. Robert Williams at 6'6", finally getting a big role with there being no Daniel Tice, so I do think I'm going to have a lot of interest in him moving forward. He was a guy that I was on last night for sure, and anyone else on the Boston side, I mean, your guess is Peyton Pritchard, Taco Fall, I guess you play at 3K. Peyton Pritchard would probably be my number one blowout option. He'd probably get some good run if the game's into a blowout, so that's what I'd be going to there. Philadelphia taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. This game right now comes in with a 223.5 over-under with a 4-point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Clippers. There continues to be no Joel Embiid. Kawhi Leonard is listed as questionable. Serge Ibaka is out. After missing last game, I tend to think that Kawhi Leonard will be back. And if he is, maybe they rest Paul George or something weird like that. Paul George last time being the main usage guy with there being no Kawhi Leonard, put up 47 DraftKings points. I will continue to have a lot of interest in him if there is no Kawhi Leonard. I still like him if there is Kawhi, but not nearly as much. And on the Philadelphia side, it's Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris that are taking on the workload, all of the usage. Ben Simmons continues to be somewhat underwhelming on DraftKings, and he is priced up for the role without Joel Embiid, and he continues to put up like mid-30s to 40 DraftKings points. That's just not going to get the job done at that price tag, so I would heavily lean towards playing Tobias Harris. Putting up 61, 33, 49, and 37 DraftKings points. He's kind of the main shooter on the team as far as he's getting the most usage. Ben Simmons can't really shoot the ball, so he's getting a lot of the workload. And then you got Ivica Zubac at 5'9" for the Los Angeles Clippers, who I think is continuing to see more minutes. I do have some interest in him. And Dwight Howard, who got ejected last time out, but should have a much bigger role now that there is no Tony Bradley. There's no one to cut into his minutes. Hopefully a lot of people are mad about the ejection, and you get him lower owned than you should because he's a very good play at the 5'6" price tag. So If you played him last time, just let that one go and play him again because he's probably going to make up for it for you. And then you got Seth Curry and Shake Milton. Both these guys kind of cutting into each other's usage a little bit. I would prefer Seth Curry. He's just proven to be the guy that they're willing to give more minutes. And for that reason, I lean towards him. And yeah, that is my interest as far as this game's concerned. Last game on the slate, Cleveland taking on Sacramento. This game right now comes in with a 221.5 over under with a 7-point spread in favor of the Sacramento Kings. So pretty slow pace. Kings expected to win this one fairly easily. As far as who I'm looking to in this one, Colin Sexton is listed as questionable. If he continues to be out, we will have some interest in guys like Chetty Osman. Darius Garland gets a big bump up in usage, and he gets literally the best matchup you could ask for in this one. So he would make some sense as a play. You could be playing a Larry Nance Jr. DeLon Wright, yeah, Larry Nance Jr. is a guy I have a lot of interest in. Put at 47 to 40 DraftKings points the last 2 games. So just to make that clear, gotta like him. And then DeLon Wright is listed as questionable to make his Sacramento debut. So keep an eye on that one. If he's in, I do think that's going to throw a little bit of a wrench in the rotation. Maybe a guy like Halliburton really takes a hit. Buddy Hield probably takes a hit. Those 2 guards specifically. I don't think that De'Aaron Fox will be affected too much. Rashawn Holmes and Harrison Barnes, not really too worried about them. But those other 2 guards, if DeLon Wright's good to go, I do think that he's going to take a little bit of a usage away from them and court time. So keep an eye on that one. And then, as far as I already said, Chetty Osman at 4-5. If he continues to be in the starting lineup, you got to play him. He only played 24 minutes, but I guess this Cleveland matchup could definitely get you there. So that is my overall breakdown of this 9-game slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Moses Brown at this 5.9 price tag. Take it on this Boston squad, which isn't exactly the best matchup in the world. Only a 219 over under, but a 10-point spread. They're expected to get blown out in this one. And Moses Brown continues to see huge minutes, even though he's coming off the bench, putting up 1.18 DK points per minute. Just absolutely killing it out there as far as fantasy point per minute production. And in a game, if this game is turning into a blowout, which is expected to, I think I'm just going to like him even more. He's going to be out there running around in garbage time, just putting up fantasy points left and right. Love him at this price tag. Take advantage while you can, because I think pretty soon we might see his price tag be forcefully raised by DraftKings just based upon the production this guy's putting up. And Moses Brown is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Moses Brown. Get him in your lineups. And that is all for me on this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate that. And then don't forget to check out my KJK DFS links, link below in the description. You can even check out my KJK DFS package where you get access to my premium projections, all of that fun stuff. I wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.